Hello everyone, welcome back. This is 𝗨𝗣𝗏 here from 𝗨𝗣𝗏𝗏𝗧, and today we'll be going over Bitcoin. Starting from the weekly analysis, we'll drop down to the 4 hour and see where price is heading for the rest of the week and probably even for the upcoming week, where our drawn liquidity is and where we feel like our monthly candle will be closing. So for that, we might as well just start from the monthly time frame. So looking at the monthly time frame, we do see that we have had some considerable pushes on the monthly. For the month of July, we are almost forming an inside candle, but we have taken minor sweep of the previous month, and now we are dropping down into the previous month's range. And looking to the left-hand side, we feel like we have tried to mitigate a little bit of the fair value gap that sits on the monthly time frame, but we have barely tapped it and we reversed from there. So that's an important zone that we have marked out on our chart. It is important because this is an inefficiency that sits between these two candles, and eventually the price will be coming in and filling it up. But that's later on. We also would like to mark out this low, which was formed on the push down, and then that gives us our monthly drawn liquidity for the upcoming months. Basically, if we are going to fill this up, these will be the two interest zones in the first place, and then we may look into the further price action filling this up. But like always, we would like to use the price action that's available to us rather than expecting what price will be doing. We just work with what's given. So these are the two important levels that I do would like to see filled up in the upcoming month or even by this end of this month, but depending on what the drawn liquidity looks like on the lower time frames. But these are the two areas I'd like to mark out on the monthly. Dropping down to the weekly time frame, excuse me. So we just refine this a little bit more. So you can see this is where the candlestick forms here. A little bit of sweep, we have mitigated that, and then we have dropped from there. So which means that there is a lot of sell orders that have started from this area, dropping down, taking some lows, and then we have this bullish narrative that started in the beginning of the month where we started to impulse up, we came back down, mitigated the fair value gap, pushed up, came back down, and this is the fair value gap that was recently mitigated um, in in the month of June. So that was last month, and we have still yet to mitigate the 50% of it, but we did see an impulse from the mitigation. Price pushed up. The other point we can have a look is this high that was formed on the down move, and this is where we found confirmation that yes, price may not be reversing and dropping below, it's closing up. So then these two areas become the drawn liquidity or the relative equal highs that are formed, and price just went through that, and then eventually this became the drawn liquidity. Now, interestingly, what I like to see is that I want to see price come back down to 50% and then start pulsing to the either side, up or down, but 50% is something that I normally have on my charts. So let's mark out the 50% on this swing up. The reason why we use this swing up is because price, this is the low that was intact at the moment. When price started to push up, this high was taken. Price pulled back down, mitigated the fair value gap, and pushed up. And we do not have a closure above this high. So we just mark this high and that. We'll just move these lines for now, so just get narrative a bit more clear. So keeping in mind, these are the two monthly time frame lines that we would like to see the drawn liquidity. We do have a quick tap of that line, and then we started to reject from there, and we're pushing down back into the range. Fixing this 50% of that, and we can zoom into this price action. Looking at that, price is trying to come back down to the 50% fair value. So I am expecting something like this. We come down into the fair value and then we start mitigating these two areas. So that would be my first indication. And that may take us up to all the way to 32. Possibly if we cross over displace close above, we can go into 34, 35, 36, whatever price may be going towards, but this is what the draw on the weekly looks like, and looking at the 50% of that fair value, so we remove this. Looking at the 50% of the fair value on the weekly time frame, we still have a little bit of room to move, not too much. We are at 29 at the moment, and the fair value 50 sits at 28. So a grand, which is not really that much for BTC. If it starts moving, it goes. So yeah, that's something that I would have in mind. This is an area that I would like to keep it until here, and we'll just make it bold. So right now, this high is unconfirmed, so we'll just mark it out as this high around here, and we'll just do as unmitigated. So this may eventually get run, so we also will keep this area as a drawn liquidity eventually for the upcoming weeks. So this is something that we are looking forward to. Price may impulse up, and then these are our monthly time frame lines, so we can just add the monthly on that, and we can just go right monthly time frame. So this is what my narrative for the weekly looks like, and now we drop down to the daily. So daily, we did see an impulse down, aggressive push down basically from this level, and we did have this fair value sitting around here. This is the first fair value that sits within the weekly fair value on the daily time frame, and that is getting mitigated all the way up to the 50%, and then price pushes up. So that tells us that this sell side liquidity that was built up underneath these lows is getting mitigated. Price would like to continue further down from here, or it may push up. But these are the two areas that I would like to have on my chart. So on the weekly, we can remove this from the daily, clean the charts up a little bit. And there we go. So on the daily, we do have a break of structure on to the upside. So at the moment, I do hold a bullish narrative because we would like to see this monthly time frame zones to get mitigated and filled. But until then, we do have a massive push up. So I'd like to price to come rebalance and then eventually push up. So something like this, we push down, come down further in, and then we impulse up, or we can just simply push up from there. But then if it starts pushing up from here, we would also have to remember that this area will be still pending. At the same time, this high will still be pending. So these are the two areas that we'll keep in mind going forward from here onto the upcoming months. Oh, sorry, upcoming days and end of the month. That 50% of the initial push up was mitigated and price is now pushing back up. There is relative equal highs built up in here, which may get which will eventually get sorry about that, which will eventually get run on these areas, and then we may start seeing some price action on the sideways, and then we may start pushing back down. One more area that I just had a look at and just saw is that we have a three drives pattern, 1, 2, 3, and then we broke down below the lows. So looking at that, this area swept, and now we are pushing down. So this becomes an important zone for us eventually when price starts to break down. This is an important supply zone on the daily time frame, which we are seeing 1, 2, 3 taps, and then we are rejecting from there. And there's a massive rejection, which means the short orders are opening up. So I'd like price to see do something like this, go in there, and then come back down for the 50% of this, and eventually whatever price would like to do. But this is what my narrative on the daily time frame holds at this stage. And going to the 4-hour time frame, we as we see, price took out this equal lows around here. Price is starting to pick up some liquidity in this zone because this was all buy orders, so we may see some price action to the upside. We do have a small imbalance up here that may get filled on the 4-hour, but if you're taking some shorts early, may want to make sure that your stop losses are covering the highs because eventually these highs will get run, although I'm not too sure if they will or not, but this is an inefficiency that price is holding at this point. So just something to keep in mind, just be aware of the risk that you're putting on at the time. But two areas that I would like to point out is this fair value gap and these lows. So this number one, and then this is the fair value gap in here. So that is still pending, and these lows were taken out by this sweep down. So this is a lot of sell side liquidity that just got built up in this 1 4-hour candle. So we may see some impulsive price action to the upside into these areas before we start dropping further to the downside into these lows that we marked out. Or if we start displacing above, or we start closing bullish candles like this into in here, we may start seeing price push up to the buy side liquidity that sits above this highs, but looks weak at this point. We are not closing with conviction to the upside. We have a lot of downside, but you never know. This is what liquidity generation looks like. Prices are pushing down, lows are being taken. Now, at this one more important thing that I'd like to point out is that when you see breakdown below the lows, you'd like to see what price is being, what institutional buying or big money is doing. They're not buying around here. They want to sell, which means that they are shorting around here. Their sell orders are open. They're distributing the short orders into this price action, and now they're taking out these lows, validating their shorts. They would like to push up, rebalance, and they would short even more into the lower time frames. So just something to be mindful of going into the week. But this is just a short and sweet analysis on BTC at this point. For me, the lows are already broken for now. I still hold a narrative that we may go up to the fair value before we start dropping. But these two areas are something that I'll be keeping an eye on. I'll be having I have my alert set on my broker and exchanges, so and limit orders will be set, but I would like to see some more price action for reversal. So when we start seeing something like this in here, and then we form a low, check the high, and then we break the low with an impulse, this is something that I'd like to see with conviction, some displacement to the downside. And once we have that, I would like to have my entries on the pullback from here in this price leg. But that's when we reach those areas. At this point, this is what I have for Bitcoin. Hopefully you guys liked it, and have good luck for the rest of the week, and have a nice day.